They walked away like it was a choice, calm, certain, like losing you meant nothing. And you stood there thinking, how can someone be so okay with leaving me? But here's the part no one tells you. That calm wasn't peace, it was escape. And right now, something inside them is starting to break. If this felt personal, you already know why. Subscribe. There's more clarity waiting for you here. In the first days after they leave, the avoidant feels something that gets mistaken for liberation. Their cortisol drops. The chronic low-grade anxiety they carried inside the relationship, that constant hum of someone needs something from me, goes quiet. Their nervous system, which had been on threat alert for months, finally exhales. They think, I made the right call, I feel lighter, I am free. And this is where most people watching this make a critical mistake. You see them moving on quickly, posting, laughing, filling the space with noise, and you conclude that you meant nothing. That is not what is happening. What is happening is neurological sedation. The avoidant's brain, specifically the amygdala, the part that codes emotional threat, has just been relieved of its primary stressor. Intimacy. Real, close, knowing intimacy. The kind you brought. They are not healed. They are numb. And there is a profound difference between the two. But here's what most people never realize. The human brain does not process loss in a straight line. It processes it in fragments. Small, ordinary moments that arrive without warning and carry more weight than any dramatic fight ever could. Neuroscience has a term for this: prediction violation. Your brain builds a detailed internal map of another person, their voice, their habits, the specific way they made ordinary moments feel significant. When that person disappears, the brain keeps expecting them, and every time reality doesn't match the map, a small alarm fires. They reach for their phone to send you something funny, and then stop. They hear a song, just a song, and something in their chest does something they did not give it permission to do. They are not thinking about you yet, not consciously, but their nervous system remembers what their ego is still insisting it does not need. This is the first crack in the illusion. It was not control, it was a time delay. The new person arrives, or perhaps they were already there, waiting in the wings like a solution to a problem that had not finished revealing itself. And for a while it works. The surface is smooth. There is no vulnerability demanded, no one asking to be truly known. The avoidant can perform closeness without risking it, but the brain, specifically the dopamine system, is not easily fooled. Your brain measures reward not just by what feels good, but by contrast, by the difference between what you had and what you have now, and what the avoidant had with you, regardless of the fear it triggered, was real, layered, complex. The kind of connection that creates a neurological benchmark. The new relationship doesn't clear that benchmark. It can't, because it isn't built on the same depth. They didn't replace you. They replaced the sensation of being fully seen and discovered that no replacement exists. They traded the ocean for a swimming pool and called it an upgrade. But you cannot fake the sound of real water. This is where the neuroscience becomes almost unbearable in its precision. Researchers studying grief and attachment loss have documented what they call the phantom limb effect of relationships. It is the same principle that causes amputees to feel sensation in a limb that is no longer there. The neural pathways don't disappear just because the source does. The brain keeps firing along routes that were built for you. The avoidant starts dreaming about you, not romantic dreams necessarily, mundane ones. You are simply there in the background of their life, the way you used to be, and they wake up and you are gone again, and something in them registers the loss for the very first time, not as a decision, but as a wound. The Zeigarnik effect deepens this. The mind obsesses over unfinished things, unresolved patterns, conversations that never reach their true end. You became unfinished business, and the mind cannot file away what it never completed. Their silence is not indifference. It is the quiet scream of someone beginning to understand what they held. And here is where it gets almost cruel in its irony. The avoidant brain, now separated from the threat of real intimacy, begins to do something called retroactive idealization. The fear that once made closeness feel like a trap begins to dissolve in hindsight. And what remains, stripped of the anxiety, is the memory of you, clear, unguarded, beautiful in a way they could not let themselves fully receive when you were standing right in front of them, They remember the specific way you listened, the way you stayed, the way you never made them earn your warmth. You simply gave it, even when they made it difficult. They held a diamond in their hands and spent the entire time convinced it was too heavy to carry. And now they understand what they were holding. Now, in the quiet, when there is nothing left to run toward, the weight of what they lost is the only thing in the room. It was not that they didn't love you. It is that they loved you in a way that terrified them, and they chose the terror of losing you over the terror of keeping you. Now I want to speak directly to you. You have been carrying a question inside your chest that sounds like, was I enough? I need you to hear this clearly. You were not simply enough. You were the standard. You were the proof, perhaps the first real proof they ever had, that they were capable of being truly loved by another human being. Not performed love, not convenient love, real love. And that is not a small thing to have been. You are not a rehabilitation center for someone else's unhealed wounds. You are not here to wait in the waiting room of someone else's awakening. You did not fail this relationship. You outlived it. There is a difference. The peace you are building right now, the quiet mornings, the slow return to yourself, the moments where you catch yourself laughing without guilt, that is what will reach them in ways your words never could. Your healing is not the consolation prize. It is the victory. If this reached something true inside you, share it with someone who needs to hear it tonight. Someone still asking, was I enough? Tell them to watch this. And remember, healing does not begin when they come back. Healing begins when you realize you no longer need them to. You were never the one who needed to be chosen. You were always the one worth choosing.